in Albany.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we see the direction he wants to go. And it's definitely just all, word salads for everybody out there that buys it, and he's out there selling it, and they're buying it. They're buying it hook, line, and sinker.
Well, it didn't work well at Woodstock up here. I hope he doesn't change it to the New York City Peace Patrol. Nobody, they wear T-shirts. Nobody wears a gun. Nobody has. I mean, I worry about some of the policies this guy has. So, okay, Joe.
Dangerous.
Thank you, Joe. We'll do it again soon. Thanks so much.
You got it, my friend. Take care. Have a great day.
Joe Cardinale, former NYPD Lieutenant Commander.
All right, it is First News Keeler in the morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. Good morning, Beth.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. If you'll give me a minute, I just want to rub salt in the wound here for Smitty.
Never an opportunity passed up, right?
Well,
You're talking about the Yankees last night?
I wouldn't have typically, but you were so happy to see the Mets collapse and not make the playoffs. I don't know that it would have went that well because the Mets would have faced the Dodgers, and Ohtani and the Dodgers were pretty hot last night. But so they get a win. But your take on the Yankees' loss?
He should have left Max Fried in. He was at 100 pitches. He should have left. I knew as soon as Luke Weaver was warming up, and I said, this game's going to be done. Luke Weaver's going to give it up, and next thing I knew, 2 runs in, make it 3-1, 2-1, and that's it. Yankees got to win tonight.
Boston did add an insurance run, and then the Yankees in the 9th load the bases on 5 pitches. They get 3 singles.
Against Chapman.
The former Yankee who left under not great terms, I guess. There was some allegations that he had kind of quit, or quit on the team anyway. And they load the bases with nobody out, and they never push across a run. Is this a Yankees fan here?
Yeah, it's the biggest Yankee fan besides me, and you know who he is, Jeff.
Good morning.
He used to be part of this show.
Good morning.
You got to be not happy with the outcome last night.
That's generous. That's generous in your description of the outcome of the game. Once again, Aaron Boone strikes again.
I was going to say, if they don't win this series, do you think he's gone?
No. Are you kidding me? You think Cashman's job is safe? If Cashman's job is safe, which it is, let's just bury the lead on that. If Cashman's job is safe, Boone is safe, and he's not going anywhere. He got him to the playoffs again this year, so there's no reason to get rid of him. I mean,
you're obviously being a bit sarcastic.
Yeah, but you take out Max Fried at 100 pitches, okay? Crochet was going to pitch the full game if they needed him to, And say what you want about Cora, because he's, a big cheat, and he was, at the core of all that Houston Astros stuff, right? And I get it. But he's a better manager than Boone, because he, looks at analytics a little bit and then says, well, you know what? There's more to this, right? We're going to have some instinct and some gut feeling, and we're going to let our pitchers pitch when they're on a roll. But Boone, he takes out a guy when he got an out, and a spectacular one at that. I just don't understand this guy's mentality. And the Yankees culture is really impacted as a whole under Hale Steinbrenner, and a perfect example of it was Aroldis Chapman, right? Aroldis pitching for the Yankees and Chapman pitching for Boston last night. It's just ridiculous.
All right, so I shouldn't have said I wanted to rub salt in the wound, because hearing you talk about the loss last night does kind of make me feel bad. But Smitty was so happy that the Mets collapsed and didn't make the playoffs. I had to take a shot this morning. So,
well, listen, I feel for the Mets and Mets fans. Honestly, we had our fun, with the Soto thing and everything like that, and trading some barbs back and forth. I do feel bad, but I think both New York sports, there's a lot of New York sports teams in general. I mean, other than Buffalo, the only true football fan in New York, or the only true football team in New York, honestly.
Okay.
I know I lost you there. I'm sorry. But I mean, there's struggles with the New York baseball teams, and I just think that the Yankees really need to consider if they're ever going to win again. I mean, Cashman right on down's got to go. They got to clear house. They just have to clear house.
Andrew, we've got Fox's Tanya J. Powers up next. If you want to come back and complain next hour, you're welcome to do so.
No, I'm fine. It's good to talk to everybody. Beth, good to hear you. And
good to hear you
give Tanya
too.
my best.
All right, thank you. That's Andrew Draminio checking in on the Yankees' loss last night. We go quickly to Fox's Tanya J. Powers, who is going to give us an update on what the polls say in the New Jersey gubernatorial race. As is the case many times, these can be an indicator of the upcoming elections federally, and the midterms are closer than probably we think. They're about a year away, but it'll come here quick. Good morning, Tanya.
Good morning, and shout out to Andrew.
Yes, he says hello.
Tell him I said hello.
What is the latest polling data on the New Jersey gubernatorial race, and do you have info on Virginia as well?
I just have New Jersey. This was the polling that we just released, and what it's basically showing is that among likely voters, the Democratic Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill leads by 8 points, 50% to Republican Jack Ciattarelli's 42%. Of course, he is a former New Jersey State Assemblyman. That is among likely voters. It's basically the same when you look at the larger sample of registered voters. She still leads by 7. Of course, you know, the current governor, the incumbent, is term limited. Phil Murphy. Ciattarelli only lost the 2021 governor's race to Murphy by 3 points. So this is, you know, obviously being closely watched. The analysis of these results, when we do Fox polling, this is using registered voter results. This is not, you know, a random poll where people can just, you know, go online and vote or whatever. This is where they, you know, this is a scientific poll, like an honest to goodness one. I feel like I should put that in because a lot of times you say polling or surveys and, you know, people don't know where the results come from. That's where they come from. This was actually done after the first gubernatorial debate on September 21st and the news that the National Personnel Records Center at the National Archives had mistakenly released unredacted parts of Mikey Sherrill's military file. So just to kind of give you an idea of when this was done, by a 6-point margin, more voters have a positive opinion of Mikey Sherrill than they do of Ciattarelli. And by 7 points, they think more of them think she is honest and trustworthy than, say, he is. That's 56 to 49%, just to kind of give you an idea. When they were asked about what their main issues are as far as with the voters that were polled, they said, okay, well, what are the biggest problems facing the state? 34% said taxes, 20% said the cost of living, and other things were like housing and energy costs. They were mentioned by 5% or fewer of the voters that they surveyed. So that's just kind of in a nutshell to give you an idea of how things are looking in the governor's race there.
All right, and then what was the leak on the military records?
This was I don't have the entire story in front of me, but remember it seems like forever ago, but it was just in September when her part of her military file was unredacted and released, and that was not supposed to have happened, and that was quite a big deal at the time. Again, we've had like 11,000 news stories since then, so it's understandable if people don't remember that one, but that is one of the things that has happened in the last month.
All right. Fox's Tanya J. Powers checking in. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
All right, so I guess we'll see how that shapes out, and a lot of these gubernatorial races could be an indicator for what we see in next year's midterm elections. We see that quite a bit. So, Beth, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm awake and ready for my second cup of coffee, and I'm good.
I haven't even finished my first, but I am ready for a second. I'm definitely ready for a second.
Well, I brought some sugar in for you to power up for the morning.
Yeah,
so.
What do you have here this morning?
I have Asian pear bread this morning.
Okay. Are those? I thought those were walnuts in there. That's
There
pear?
are walnuts in there,
Okay.
but there's also, it's called an Asian pear. And the way my daughter described it, because I picked some up at the market a few weeks ago because I'd never had one before, and I do like pears. And she said an apple and a pear had a baby, and it was an Asian pear, and that's what the Asian pear tastes like. So, okay.
Okay.
You know, one of the things I really like about managing the market is it kind of encourages me to be a little more adventurous with the foods that I eat.
Right.
So I brought some home, and I was like, you know what? I haven't made anything for the guys for a while, and I always feel kind of guilty when I walk in empty-handed here at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I made pear bread last night, or yesterday afternoon, actually.
Well, it looks delicious, and I will dive into that in a second. Smitty, you've had a chance to try it.
Yeah, I've had 2 pieces already. Boy, is it good.
Yeah.
Anything that Beth makes when she comes in on Wednesdays is
Well, I don't want to say
phenomenal.
about that. There's been a few that
Oh,
have ended up in
please.
the garbage
No,
before they
no.
got out of the house. So.
Oh, okay. So you tossed them before you brought them. I was
Yeah.
going to say, anything you've brought in has been delicious.
Well,
So.
yeah, got to make sure that happens.
So this isn't like a situation where your husband gets to grab the
Well,
overage, if
In
you
all
will?
honesty, the recipe that I used made 2 loaves.
Okay.
You'll notice there's only 1 loaf in the studio. So, yeah. Yeah, he
Gotcha.
benefits from it.
Gotcha.
And he seems to enjoy it. So.
Coming up next hour, we're going to chat with State Assemblyman Brian Miller. He's going to talk about this Beams Act, which is, well, he'll explain it, but it deals with blinding headlights on several vehicles that are manufactured today. Is this an issue that you've noticed?
Yes.
Do you have a take on this?
Yes. I get it. You know, you want to be able to see clearly when you're driving at night, but at the same time, you seeing clearly in the process of blinding any of the drivers that might be coming in the other direction probably isn't a real productive way to do things. And I think it has to do with, I'm diving into my husband's area of expertise here. It's probably like an LED thing.
Yes.
A different kind of bulb they're using, but it's just too harsh. It's just too harsh. I mean, isn't that why somebody invented high beams? If you are in a situation where you need more light in front of you to maybe, follow the white lines on the edge of the road in a snowstorm because you have to get home or whatever. But those, I think, are just not. They're not conducive to safe driving. Personal opinion.
I think I agree with you. And as I mentioned myself when we discussed this earlier this week, the light bulbs on my vehicle that's how they came.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been flashed several times by other motorists who think
because people think
I
you have your
have
high beams
yes.
on. Yep.
So.
And then when you do flash your eye beams to tell them, nope, these are my normal lights. Now you're really blinding them for a second.
Yeah. Absolutely, because it is obviously significantly brighter.
So you just ignore the taillights swerving off the side of the road in your rearview mirror, So it's I don't like it. And it used to be able to, like, if you have if you had a headlight go out, you go to an auto supply place and you get a new bulb and you pop the top, the front of the light, the light out, and you pop the new bulb in. Now you have to dismantle the front of the car practically to get at it.
Yeah, it's not a bulb you're replacing. You have to replace the whole
The
unit.
whole unit.
Essentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll talk with Assemblyman Brian Miller next hour about that. If you want to weigh in or if you have a question, please send it to us. Send it to our man, Uncle Smitty here. You can give us a call at 315-736-0186. All right, a couple other things I want to talk about. I want to give credit to WKTV here. On their website this morning, they must have used a drone, obviously.
Is that what's left at Delta State?
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that.
I know. I was there a few weeks ago, and it wasn't quite as bad as it is now, but it was depressing.
They have an aerial shot of Delta Lake, or what is, I guess, officially called the Delta Lake or Delta Reservoir.
Yeah, yep.
And my goodness, I actually drive by the lake every day. And I joked with Keeler last week that it was reminding me of an aging man's recessing hairline because you could every day see more and more of the shore. And
Hinckley's the same way.
While we did get a little bit of rain last week, it's only gotten worse. And it's significantly dried up, I guess, if you will. Boy, that's incredible. So there's a part, I guess, what I would call the back of the lake. If you're coming from Rome and you're headed up north, when you drive by the lake, it'll be on your left-hand side, and that's where you can see the shorelines have recessed quite a bit.
You're talking on 46, like going towards Westernville, Frenchville area.
Where the boat
46.
dock is yards away from
where
the
that
first
area
part of
is.
the water.
Yes. But then there's a backside. I don't know if that's a reserve, but once you go past the entrance, I don't know, just a tenth of a mile around that bend, whatever's on the backside there, I think it's just part of the lake, but it's a lesser seen part of it, maybe, depending on where you're coming from. That's been dry for a while, and it just looks like an empty field that maybe had just been plowed for corn.
Yep.
Because there's grass growing there now, despite the fact that we're not getting much precipitation. But it just looks like an empty field. Like you could throw down.
You can walk across it easily.
You absolutely could,
Yep.
or you could lay down lines and host a football tournament or something over there, like a Pop Warner tournament. So.
Always with the sports, you guys.
I know. I can't help it. I can't help it. That was my first thought, though. It either looked like a cornfield that had just been plowed, or an empty field waiting for football to be played.
And the really scary thing about both bodies of water, Hinckley and Delta, is those are water sources for people's homes. So unfortunately, we're probably getting closer and closer to times where we're told to start to manage our water better.
So I went up to the Remsen Barn Fest this past weekend, and I had to jigger my roll head up the Prospect Street. When you come down into Remsen, I had to go up that way to go home. So I, knowing the area up there, I took a back road and brought me out by Hinckley. I saw.
Yeah. Hinckley's is the same situation. Yep. Yeah, it's scary. I mean, it's when we think about the weather that we've had this year. I mean, this past spring it was so wet. And again, it was another spring where we had farmers from the market that were planting fields a second time, and things were rotting before they're getting seeded and getting germinated. And so we had farmers that weren't joining us in the market till late June because the plants just weren't established enough to produce anything to harvest. And then, of course, we ended up for most of the summer, late part of June through July into early August with borderline drought, because we didn't see any rain or any significant moisture. And this is how, nature kind of balances the scale. Unfortunately, we depend on that scale to consistently be balanced. And when it's not, we create scary situations for ourselves.
Now, neither one of those is fed by something upstate, is it?
I don't think
so.
Significantly. There's probably an underground aquifer that feeds it to a certain extent, but both, I believe, and somebody can call in and correct me if I'm wrong, both Delta and Hinckley were man-made lakes. They were created lakes.
Right. I believe Delta. I didn't know that about Hinckley. Actually, maybe I think you're right on both.
Yeah, because I've even seen quotes like on Facebook and stuff for people who are taking the pictures. They're saying, "Oh, you can start to see the structures again," which means the water level has dropped down to where there used to be buildings that people lived in or worked in or whatever that are still there underwater. And now when it gets this dried up, they start to see those structures again.
Oh wow, that's amazing! I didn't realize that. You can see the buildings.
When it's this bad, you can. I mean, obviously they're deteriorated, but you can start to see the remnants of what used to be part of the town.
Oh boy, that's
interesting. It's kind of like Stephen King-ish.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. All right. Again, I'm just mesmerized by this picture, and Dave Olney messaging that he's got some drone shots as well from Delta. You can share it with anyone there you want. Okay. Let's see here. We're going to get some photos, and maybe we can share these either on our website or our social media. I'm going to have to send them over to our man, Uncle Smitty. Thank you, Dave. But, yeah, it's quite alarming to see that. And as you say, they feed both our...
both Utica and Rome. In the Mohawk Valley area, yeah.
Yeah, and provide water locally.
I just had a thought with the mention of Stephen King. I'm like, what a great idea for a Halloween movie.
So my brother-in-law just texted in on the app and says, FYI, Delta does not supply water.
It does not. Okay.
Oh, it does not. Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks for that correction.
Yeah, so I wasn't aware of that, but let's Let's see, just making sure I send him the right email address. All right, we'll take a quick timeout and come back with more. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Did you hear? The best performing assets of 2025 aren't stocks. They are precious metals. This year, gold and silver have risen a staggering 29%. And some experts believe the gold and silver bull market has just begun. Central banks are buying gold to protect against the falling dollar. And silver, it's powering the future. With skyrocketing demand for solar, EVs, and AI, silver is the new oil. So how high could gold and silver soar? Find out. Call Lear Capital, the precious metals leader, at 800-957-GOLD. Get your free wealth protection kit and see how gold and silver could help your retirement dreams come true. With over $3 billion in trusted transactions, thousands of five-star reviews, Lear is your trusted source. Call now, 800-957-GOLD. That's 800-957-GOLD. 800-957-4653.
Whatever you need to haul, landscaping tools, heavy construction gear, or even livestock, Clinton Tractor has the trailer for the job. Choose steel, aluminum, or galvanized frames from 500 pounds to 55 tons with trusted names like B-Wise, Eager Beaver, and EB. For trailers, parts, and service you can count on, visit the Caladona family at Clinton Tractor.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
Are your windows old and tired? Hard to put up and down? Builder's grade windows just aren't made to last very long. Patriot Home Solutions is a different kind of window company. No games or gimmicks, no long drawn-out sales presentations, just high-quality, custom-fit windows at reasonable prices made right here in New York. And right now, you can get up to $2,000 off new windows from Patriot and NYSERDA, plus 0% interest for 18 months. Most homeowners qualify for the savings, and income is not one of the requirements. So write this number down, 315-401-0440. That's 401-0440. Patriot Home Solutions will tell you right over the phone if you qualify. Don't miss your chance to save up to $2,000 on new windows. Funds are limited, so call before they run out. Learn more at callpatriothomesolutions.com. That's callpatriothomesolutions.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LOT to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LOT for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LOT for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Ew, Dad, why are toenails so ugly and yellow?
If you're like me and suffer from toenail fungus, please pay close attention. Let's face it, toe fungus is embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off and hid my yellow and crumbly toes from everybody. But nail fungus isn't just a cosmetic problem, it can also be dangerous. Even a small spot can spread and get worse. But no matter what I tried, it seemed like my fungus would never go away. Then I discovered Crystal Flush, the new and different FDA-registered at-home treatment. This unique two-step system flushes out fungus at its source and reverses damaged nails. Finally, me and thousands of others are free from fungus. And you can be too.
Crystal Flush is not available in stores, but you can try it risk-free for 60 days. Go to crystalflush.com. That's CRYSTAL flush.com. Show off your toes with confidence. Go to crystalflush.com now. CRYSTAL flush.com.
More widespread advisories for frost and freeze for Thursday morning. Actually, some freeze warnings into the Adirondacks. Clear sky this morning, and it is noticeably cooler. Sunshine cooler later, 68. Tonight in the 30s, and as we said, some of us close to freezing in the Adirondacks. Areas of frost tomorrow morning, then sunshine upper 60s, and a beautiful Friday, sunny, 75. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stage at WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, 6:54, First News Keeler in the morning. Coming up next hour, we'll chat with Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio for an update on the government shutdown and what it means. There's a couple of things I want to highlight here, but Beth, as I suspected, it's not obviously just the federal government that's impacted by this. There are impacts to local governments.
Oh, the trickle down is tremendous.
Yes, and in fact, your area of expertise is kind of impacted by this.
Yeah, and actually, thank you. I want to take advantage of the opportunity to the impact of this immediately at the market, and if anybody who's been at the market in the last couple of weeks knows that the county is once again investing in the facility. So there's some construction and enhancements going on in the REA wing, and just so we can stay out of the way of that happening, and they can stay out of the way of the market happening, we're moving the market indoors starting this Saturday. So we're going to be in the main lobby this coming Saturday, October 4th. Normally we wait till later in the month because we want to take advantage of as many nice days as we can outside. But we had a conversation with the county earlier this week, and there's nothing planned. There's no wedding receptions or anything like that going on. So we're going to be moving inside this week, a couple of weeks early. So just so people know that a heads up. But yeah,
at the train station or the REA?
At the train station.
Okay.
Yep. Into where you see us in the wintertime.
Okay.
But yeah, unfortunately, this government shutdown is having an immediate impact. Anybody who brings their SNAP card down to the market, we participate in a supplemental nutrition program called Double Up Food Bucks, which matches up to $50 a market day the number of dollars their SNAP dollars they want to spend at the market. We give them what's called a loyalty card. We move $50 off their SNAP card onto the loyalty card and then match it with another $50 for fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, which people really like. And it gets a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables into the hands of people who may not otherwise be able to afford to do that. And one of the partners at the federal level that helps manage this process so we can move those dollars is unable to do so because of the government shutdown. So right now, when you come to the market, if you have a loyalty card and you have dollars on your card, you can still use those. The farmers that you are used to going to shop with are still going to be able to do those transactions. The market itself, when you come to the market information table, unfortunately, we are not going to be able to administer the SNAP dollars from your EBT card to the loyalty card and then match them with additional dollars. So for the time being, we're not able to do that. But if you have dollars on your card, you are still able to come down and purchase what you need.
And then you can still use the SNAP card, as you said, with farmers and vendors who already accept that.
And wherever you normally use your SNAP card, whether it's Walmart or Price Chopper or wherever, you should still be able to do that.
Right, but this is specifically involves the program where you basically double the dollars, right?
Correct.
The $50. Yeah.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
But as you said, if you have any credits on that loyalty card or that loyalty program, you still can use that.
Yep.
Now, does that impact funding for the program that allows for the farmers market, or just that particular aspect of it?
Right now, it's just that particular aspect. The SNAP dollars that we handle at the market SNAP is a federal program, so they're federal dollars. To my knowledge, this may be something that changes if this shutdown continues for more than a short period of time. The matching, the nutritional supplement programs that a lot of farmers markets will participate in, and there's a number of them out there. We just happen to participate in the Double Up Food Bucks one. Those are usually funded by grants. That particular program for us is managed at the New York State level by a nonprofit out of Buffalo called Field and Fork Network, and they fund the program through a USDA grant. Which they were recently awarded a second round of funding for it, so they can continue the program for another couple of years across the whole state. So this isn't just the Oneida County Public Market that happens to participate in Double Up Food Bucks. This is any farmers market that's currently running that participates in the Double Up Food Bucks program. So, or any SNAP eligible farmers market in the state or in the country because it's a federal program. So it's a hiccup. Like so many others, I'm sure there's going to be other instances where, there's going to be things that people we're just losing the physical ability. The technology is not going to be there for us for the time being, for us to take these steps that we've been taking.
We will check in on some of the other impacts locally as it pertains to parks. There's one aspect of this that drives me crazy, and it's who gets paid and who doesn't. We'll check in on that after the news at the top of the hour as well. It is First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM. Jeff Manaski and Beth Irons in with us today. We'll take a break for the news here at the top. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. I'll also continue to razz Davey over the disappointing end to that game last night for the New York Yankees. It's coming up next hour here on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 100 years.
This is a Fox News alert. A government shutdown begins. I'm Dave Anthony.
The only real victim here is the American people. This is so unnecessary and uncalled for.
That's Republican Senate Leader John Thune after the House passed bill that provides 7 more weeks of funding was blocked by Democrats. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is demanding provisions to extend health care subsidies set to expire at the end of the year.
The vast majority of Americans get those bills. And they're going to say, what the heck are we going to do? We need health care, but we can't afford it.
GOP Senator Rick Scott tells Fox he's frustrated.
If you didn't do your job in business, you didn't get paid. You don't show up and do your job, you don't get paid. Why are we getting paid? We shouldn't get paid if we don't do our job.
But while members of Congress will still get paychecks in the shutdown, other workers providing essential services from law enforcement to the military to airport security will not get paid unless there's new funding. Hundreds of thousands of other federal workers may be furloughed or lose their jobs permanently. President Trump warns Democrats.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them. Like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like.
2 unions representing federal employees have filed lawsuits challenging the president's authority to lay them off. There are 2 natural disasters overseas. An earthquake rocked the Philippines, a magnitude 6.9 shaking, killing at least 69 people. Rescuers are searching for anyone trapped in collapsed or damaged homes and buildings. There's also a frantic search in Indonesia after a school collapsed. At least 91 students still unaccounted for. The 3 have been found dead so far.
Parents are there with more than 300 rescue workers at the Islamic boarding school in Sidoarjo, Indonesia. The collapse happened during afternoon prayers on Monday on a lower floor of a 2-story building where 2 floors were being added, reportedly an unauthorized expansion. Police say the foundation couldn't take the weight of the new concrete being poured. Oxygen, food, and water has been sent through narrow gaps to teenage boys believed to be trapped alive.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. America's listening to Fox News.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Again, our top Fox News story. Since Congress did not approve new funding for the government by midnight, much of it is shutting down this morning, and that means we won't be getting economic reports. They'll be put on hold, including the monthly jobs report and unemployment rate that were supposed to come out on Friday. And speaking of all that, the Trump administration has withdrawn the nomination for the new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. E.J. Antoni will no longer be up for that job.
The Senate received paperwork Tuesday formally withdrawing Antoni's nomination. The White House official declined to say the reasons for withdrawing the nomination, only to say that Antoni was a talented economist and that President Trump plans to announce a new nominee soon. The president fired Erica McIntarfer as BLS commissioner on August 1st after the July jobs report showed a rapid slowdown in hiring, with job gains in May and June revised much lower than initially estimated. Deborah Valentine, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stocks could drop to start October. Dow futures are down more than 200 points after closing September at a record high. The Dow gained 2% last month, and NASDAQ surged up more than 5% in September. The baseball playoffs are underway.
Swing and a line drive, ripped right field, back, gone! Leadoff homer, Shohei Ohtani, a low liner over the right field fence.
And then Ohtani hit another one. Teoscar Hernandez also homered twice to power the Los Angeles Dodgers past the Cincinnati Reds 10-5 on ESPN. In the last of the 4 games, the Boston Red Sox beat the New York Yankees 3-1. The Chicago Cubs topped the San Diego Padres by the same score. And the Detroit Tigers nipped the Cleveland Guardians 2-1. All of those best-of-3 series resumed today. In basketball, the Las Vegas Aces beat Indiana 107-98 in overtime to advance to the WNBA Finals and face Phoenix. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Mostly clear skies, 42 degrees. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. Well, Stewart shops across central New York are taking part in National Coffee with a Cop Day today. The event offers customers the chance to meet with members of law enforcement and discuss matters of importance to their community. Officers from Otsego, Oneida, and Herkimer counties are participating. Here locally, the Oneida County Sheriff's Office is having an event at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
Yep, 6 to 9 with the Special Olympics, raising money for Special Olympics. So Coffee with a Cop going on with Sheriff Mashel and the Oneida County Sheriffs right now at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
Well, very good, Smitty.
The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning show, Jeff.
That's correct. The Onondaga County Sheriff, Toby Shelley, is claiming that he's owed over $100,000 by the county after some legal battles. In a lawsuit, Shelley is seeking over $49,000 in attorney fees for appealing the proposed closure of the Jamesville Correctional Facility. He also wants another $66,000 in legal fees because the county refused to comply with his appointing of 2 deputy sheriff chiefs to permanent roles. So far, the county has not commented on that legal action. Syracuse University mourning the passing of former men's basketball star Lawrence Moten. He was found dead at his Washington, D.C. home yesterday at the age of 53. Moten played for SU from 1991 to 95. He's also the program's all-time leading scorer with 2,334 points. In an interview with the Post-Standard, the former Orange coach Jim Boeheim called Moten's death crushing.
I've had a chance to meet him a couple times. I have his autograph on my wall at home. I have a picture of him too. And when he signs Lawrence, Poetry, and Moten.
Oh, that's good.
That was his nickname. Great.
Poetry and Moten.
Yeah, great guy. Great guy.
And the cause of his death is unknown, right?
Unknown, but rumors said that he had cancer.
Oh, that he was ill. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Smitty. One more here. A Syracuse teenager has been accused of pulling the trigger in a fatal shooting and is now indicted by a grand jury. Prosecutors say Kiari Cunningham shot 15-year-old Adon Thomas in the abdomen during an incident in June. Thomas was brought to Upstate University Hospital but could not be saved. Cunningham was on probation at the time of the shooting. He's now charged with murder and will be arraigned on those charges coming up on October 14th. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:08. Here's a look at your forecast.
More widespread advisories for frost and freeze for Thursday morning. Actually, some freeze warnings into the Adirondacks. Clear sky this morning, and it is noticeably cooler. Sunshine cooler later, 68. Tonight in the 30s, and as we said, some of us close to freezing in the Adirondacks. Areas of frost tomorrow morning, then sunshine, upper 60s, and a beautiful Friday, sunny, 75. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
A chilly start. Right now, clear skies, 42 degrees at 7:08. All right, moving quickly in sports here. The Yankees' disappointing Game 1 performance. Max Fried pitched great. He was removed from the game after 100 pitches, and then the Red Sox rallied. They almost immediately scored 2 runs off the Yankees' bullpen, and then 3-1 in the bottom of the ninth. The Yankees opened with 3 singles on 5 pitches to load the bases with nobody out, but they could not push any runs across. The season is on the line tonight, trailing just 1-0, but it is a best-of-3 series. So the Yankees, Red Sox, and the Bronx coming up later today could force a decisive Game 3, or it could be the end of the season for the Bombers. Elsewhere, Shohei Ohtani leading off the bottom of the first for the Dodgers, homers. He ended up hitting 2 last night, as did Teoscar Hernandez, as the Dodgers beat the Reds 10-5 in Game 1. The Cubs scored 3 unanswered runs as they beat the Padres by a final of 3-1. And let's see here. The Tigers beat the Cleveland Guardians 2-1. All of those series resume later today. The Dolphins are down one of their star players for the rest of the season. ESPN says Tyreek Hill underwent a major procedure to repair a dislocated left knee and multiple torn ligaments yesterday. He will miss the rest of the season. One more here. Did I lose it?
And there's news that Lamar Jackson's out 2 of the 3 weeks with the hamstring. That means Cooper Rush is going to be the Baltimore Ravens quarterback.
Thank you. I also wanted to mention that Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner believes he's being held to a double standard. He said Monday officials are picking on him because he's on a losing team. He also added, wah. I mean, come on, are you kidding me? The 25-year-old said he's personally frustrated after being flagged for pass interference for a second straight week. Gardner believes he gets called for more things based off of his team not winning, but he is whining. He's among the top 5 most penalized corners in the NFL. So the Jets, another sloppy game on Monday night, but they did have a beef at one point where they were called for a roughing the passer when they never touched Tua. There was a play, I think, in the second half where
I didn't watch any of the games.
He slid down, and it was close to making contact, but they never made contact, and they got a 15-yard penalty for that. So,
and I mean, is it me, or are there do there seem to be a lot of injuries early on in the season this year?
Yes,
like I'm hearing hamstrings, Achilles tendons, dislocated knee. I mean, come on, that's ouch.
Yeah,
that's a major ouch there.
It is a major ouch. And Malik Neighbors, the Giants star wide receiver, tore his Achilles over the weekend as well. That's a major ouch for the team.
Yeah. And Joey Bosa, who's a top defensive guy for the San Francisco 49ers, out for the season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It comes with the game. It's a tough game. But a lot of injuries. And people are saying the field at MetLife Stadium has claimed another victim. It's, of course, Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago tore his Achilles. But you would think New York City, NFL, best field turf available. Nick Bosa, yeah. You would think NFL New York City, the best turf available. But they say there's, what is it about it? The way it's stitched underneath?
That's why I get so nervous when Josh Allen runs out of the pocket and he runs 25, 30 yards. But he slides so when he runs. But I'm hoping that this new field that they got coming up at Highmark for next season, every time that I see him run, I just say, "Oh, please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt." If he gets hurt, the Bills' season is in jeopardy.
Oh yeah, there's no question. There is no question. He's the heart and soul of that team. All right, it's 7:13. A quick timeout. We'll talk a bit about the shutdown coming up in just a moment. Later this hour, Assemblyman Brian Miller on that headlight legislation. That's coming up here on WIBX.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Did you hear? The best performing assets of 2025 aren't stocks. They are precious metals. This year, gold and silver have risen a staggering 29%. And some experts believe the gold and silver bull market has just begun. Central banks are buying gold to protect against the falling dollar. And silver, it's powering the future. With skyrocketing demand for solar, EVs, and AI, silver is the new oil. So how high could gold and silver soar? Find out. Call Lear Capital, the precious metals leader, at 800-957-GOLD. Get your free wealth protection kit and see how gold and silver could help your retirement dreams come true. With over $3 billion in trusted transactions, thousands of 5-star reviews, Lear is your trusted source. Call now, 800-957-GOLD. That's 800-957-GOLD. 800-957-4653.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
He digs, he turns, he dives. It is a touchdown. It is a touchdown.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Uncorks a deep ball downfield into the end zone. A crowd is there, and it is caught. Touchdown! Miraculous!
The NFL plays here all season long on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, it is First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. Bill is back later this week. Jeff Manaski and Beth Irons in this morning. And we go right to the phone lines where Fox News Radio's Ryan Schmelz joins us for the latest update on the government shutdown. Good morning, Ryan.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Very good. So this, I guess, officially went into effect was it at midnight last night?
Midnight.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So are we feeling reverberations yet?
I don't know about that. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I haven't seen any signs out or anything like that. We're told the Smithsonian's going to stay open, so we'll see. And then, of course, the one that we're watching for here on the Hill is if they're going to actually follow through and stop enforcing parking during the government shutdown, because, while it's a tough time and it can be challenging for a lot of people, that is the one thing that a lot of us here in D.C. will take advantage of.
So what do you mean, no parking tickets?
No parking tickets. That's my understanding. They don't do parking enforcement during a shutdown.
Wow.
A silver lining for those who live in D.C., huh?
Yeah, I still parked in my designated spot just because, I like to play on the safe side sometimes.
You're a rule follower.
It's a $40 fine I can't afford right now.
Yeah. So a couple of things I want to highlight here. In what you're learning in the lawmakers you're speaking with, do you think this is going to be extended a few weeks, or do you think this is something that will come to a head relatively quickly?
Well, yesterday was pretty interesting how it went down. I think there are some people here who were genuinely shocked that 3 Democrats voted for the bill yesterday, or at least to proceed on the bill yesterday. So that means that Republicans now just need 5 more Democrats. And there seems to be at least a level of optimism that they might be able to get 5 Democrats to do so by the end of the week. And I think there is this fear in Democrat circles that they think, okay, well, it's a good, we're giving President Trump a lot of power here if we shut down the government. We're giving Russ Vought a lot of power here to reopen the government his way, to fire federal workers, to create a lot of problems. Pretty much doing all the same things Chuck Schumer warned about last time there was a government funding battle. And they might say, well, it is a clean extension of government funding. It's not a bad deal on the table. Is this really worth, fighting over? And let's just open this thing back up and move on. So, yeah, I think there is a level of optimism that Republicans can get 5 Democrats before the end of the week, and we'll see if they can.
It's funny when they come to this realization after the fact. We knew this last week, didn't they? But then that last week only you had 0 Democrats voting for it, except for 1. You had John Fetterman. Well, they've added 2 since then, and that's just been a 2-week span. So could that change? I think it certainly is possible, and I think the Democrat statements from the ones who did end up voting yes yesterday were quite telling. Who was that, and what caught your attention?
Well, you have Catherine Cortez Masto, and then you have Angus King, who's the independent out of Maine. Cortez Masto is from Nevada, obviously a battleground state, one's the state that President Trump won last year. And I think what they said is that they don't like this idea of giving a significant amount of power to Russ Vought, and they feel like this threat of President Trump, possibly firing a number of these federal workers in the wake of a shutdown is a threat that they should take seriously. So could there be other Democrats who feel that way? I think it certainly is possible.
All right. Thank you very much. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. We'll chat with you again tomorrow.
Excellent. Sounds good, buddy. Thank you.
Take care. So a couple of things I want to point out about this, and this is one of those things that you scratch your head about, although I guess it's obvious. CYA, is that how they say it? CYA? Cover your behind?
Yeah.
So when it comes to federal employees, they obviously won't lose money. Some of them could be fired because of this, but and obviously not at their own fault. But there is the possibility of mass layoffs, at least in the short term. But federal employees could miss a paycheck. And for federal employees, their first check would be October 24th. Apparently, the shutdown came right at the end of this past pay period. That includes military personnel who would miss their first paycheck on October 15th if the shutdown extends that long. And here via NPR, the only salaries the federal government is obligated to pay, according to the Constitution, during the shutdown, are members of Congress and the president.
Imagine that.
The people
How coincidental.
who can't come to an agreement on a bill to fund the government, they still get their checks on time. That's unfortunate. Elected officials can request that their paychecks be deferred while the shutdown is ongoing. Some have already done so. Let's see if they give us a list here. Again, this is according to NPR. If I'm not mistaken, Trump doesn't take a check. I've heard that. I don't know mechanically how that works. And then, sometimes I guess you never know what to believe. Let's see. It's wrong that President member Congress during the government shutdown. Looks like Senator Andy Kim is among those who have said he won't take a paycheck while the government is shut down. One other aspect of this that could impact you directly, essentially it won't impact you directly, but if you had concerns about it, TSA, those are considered to be federal employees. Mm-hmm. So they are, remember COVID, we became familiar with the term essential employees.
Yes.
And
essential businesses. Yep.
Yes. TSA is considered essential staff. So if you go to the airport, your flights should not be delayed or canceled because TSA is not on the clock. They will continue to be paid and will continue to work throughout the government shutdown.
Now, here's a question. This just occurred to me. I'm not one who flies a lot, but I do periodically. Are on-flight people, are those TSA employees also? Like the pilot, the co-pilot?
I don't believe so.
No?
I think those are direct employees of whether it's
The
American
company,
or
okay.
Whatever it might be. And also the post office isn't that run separately? Like, for instance, we'll still get our mail. Those are not considered to be federal employees, or are they?
I think they would. I would think they would. Because if you carry a letter to a mailbox, it's your letter until you drop it in the mailbox, and then that letter becomes federal property after it's in the mailbox.
So this is what the U.S. Postal Service will keep the mail moving as usual. USPS is primarily self-funded and does not depend on the appropriations process to continue running as usual. So you will still get your mail. So a couple of things, if you were curious about impacting you, they won't impact you.
Well, I mean, the scary thing is, how is this going to impact some first responders? Or any of them? I'm sure some of them. I don't know if you would consider them federal employees, but there's got to be some kind of impact at the upper levels.
You mean in D.C. or
in general?
I don't think they're considered federal. They would. The ones that are paid, I guess, would fall under state and county. There could be some funding resources that do impact them
that'll
be delayed. Yeah, sure, for sure. We'll take a quick timeout. Coming up, we'll chat with Brian Miller for a glimpse of his headlight legislation, if you will. Are headlights, the new ones, are they too bright? Smitty, what do you think?
I don't like them. The new headlights.
They're too bright for you?
Well, I was telling Brian yesterday a story because he said we were just chit-chatting after the ceremony for Michael Jensen yesterday. Very moving ceremony. Brian can talk about that. He was there. And he said, I'll see you tomorrow, Davey. And I said, oh, yeah, see you tomorrow. And I said, I'm glad you're going to be talking about this headlight thing because I went out to Point Place Casino on Friday afternoon, like 8 o'clock.
Friday night.
I was going to say 8 o'clock's not afternoon.
Yeah, well, in my book it is. The lights from one of the vehicles was just glaring right into me. I told myself, come on, turn the lights down, dim the lights down. But
yeah.
Come on, bleep.
It's just the way these new vehicles are.
We'll talk with Brian coming up here in just a few minutes. A quick timeout. Back with more. If you want to weigh in on any of these topics, you can do so. What do you have up, the app or YouTube?
YouTube.
You can do so on our YouTube page. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
Don't overpay for your next mattress. Take advantage of Mattress Express's guaranteed lowest price program. Bring in any locally advertised price on a mattress we carry, and we will beat the price. Go to mattressexpressny.com.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you'd pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
More widespread advisories for frost and freeze for Thursday morning. Actually, some freeze warnings into the Adirondacks. Clear sky this morning, and it is noticeably cooler. Sunshine cooler later, 68. Tonight in the 30s, and as we said, some of us close to freezing in the Adirondacks. Areas of frost tomorrow morning, then sunshine, upper 60s, and a beautiful Friday, sunny, 75. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
My man, Uncle Smitty, running back and forth, giving me copy here, making sure my mic is on, and same for Beth. Good job, Smitty, as always. We'll talk now with Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth held a meeting with all top military leaders and possible reaction to a government shutdown. Good morning, Jared. What was this meeting about?
Well, so this was highly unusual to bring in one-star and above officers, generals, and admirals from around the world into one auditorium. This was at the Marine Base in Quantico, Virginia, south of Washington, D.C., to hear from both the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and President Trump. And if you listen to Hegseth's remarks, largely about kind of new priorities for the Pentagon, for the Department of War. He says they are no longer going to focus on what he described as DEI. They are no longer going to focus on what he described as woke culture or on climate change, that it is only going to be about the warrior ethos. They are going to change the way, he says, that, drill sergeants are allowed to talk to recruits and train recruits. He wants everybody to pass now a physical fitness test at the male only level. He said if females can do that, then great. But if not, it is what it is. He also said that everybody's going to have to pass those basic fitness tests, including generals. He talked about not wanting to see fat generals, which got a couple of chuckles in the room. But again, because this is a room full of military officers, when President Trump spoke, it was a little bit more stoic in the room, a little bit quieter. The president at times delivered some pretty partisan lines, talking about Joe Biden, talking about some of his accomplishments legislatively and around the world. Those are not things that generals and admirals can respond to. They are not allowed. Uniformed personnel are not allowed to do politicking, to take a view on politics. And so it made for, at times, maybe an unusual setting for these remarks. But I think if you listen to both the leaders here, both the president and the secretary, this was not just a message being delivered to military commanders. This was a message being delivered to, obviously, the United States, to the folks in the country about what the Department of Defense, the Department of War is going to look like now under the Trump administration. And I think that's a message as well that was certainly listened to and heard by allies and adversaries around the world.
Certainly. Did calling everyone to D.C. for this, did it cause alarm among some of the military leadership?
They're not going to say so publicly because, again, the same reason that they can't applaud the president delivering political lines, they can't step out and criticize the president for political lines. It did raise concerns among some of the civilian workforce. Certainly we've heard from lawmakers who said that they were concerned about this, that this was kind of a pretext to weeding out, military leaders who the president or the defense secretary don't believe are sufficiently loyal. So I think that they are waiting to see kind of what the next steps, if there are any, look like because we have seen over the first 9-10 months here of the administration, people relieved of commands. We have seen new leadership brought in at the Joint Chiefs level, the Commandant level, these major brigades, these major battalions have faced some turnover and some new leadership. And so that is something certainly that members of Congress who have oversight of the military and have to confirm a lot of these positions are looking at and speaking about.
I know the president made a change as it relates to members of the trans community in the military, but are there other aspects that were highlighted that I guess I'm curious as to the idea that the military's priority was centered on DEI or woke policies. Is there another example?
That's the view of the defense secretary, right? He believes that the previous administration and previous administrations have focused too much on that. And you have seen part of that rationale for removing folks from office, including who was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, C.K. Brown, that they believe that he was focused on diversity initiatives and things like that. And that was one of the reasons that he was removed. And I think that was the message you heard from Pete Hegseth yesterday, was that he doesn't want these generals and these commanders to worry about those types of programs. He wants them to focus on, war fighting and combat readiness.
And then one more for you, Jared, the changing the standard, or I guess returning to a previous standard where all men and women have to pass a physical fitness test that's, how would you say it, designed for a man, or the criteria for a man?
Go back. Remember that women in combat is a fairly new thing. And so this has been something that Pete Hegseth, even before he was Defense Secretary of War, was opposed to. And so you are seeing that now, not saying that women can't be in combat roles, but that they are going to have to meet the same fitness standards as men. He kind of described it as a male-only or gender-neutral fitness policy, and said, listen, if women can do that, great, but if not, that's just the way it is. He also said that he wants everybody to pass a basic fitness test fitness evaluation twice a year, including senior officers. That was kind of part of his riff about getting rid of fat generals, that everybody needs to meet a certain level of readiness to, set the example from the top of the chain of command to the bottom of the chain of command.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. Thank you so much. No fat generals, Jared. That is Jared Halpern checking in. Beth, any thoughts, anything you want to get into on this particular?
I always have lots of thoughts.
Any that you want to share?
Not at the moment, no. But it's, I don't know. I just don't know.
I want to be clear. I may have sounded critical. Look, I understand there needs to be a standard, and he's probably right. You want even your generals to be in good shape. That sends a good message, I guess. But I am sometimes confused by some of the steps the administration takes in specifically calling everyone to D.C. for this meeting. I think it certainly did cause some alarm among our military leadership.
Yeah, that thought crossed my mind. I was like, oh my God, I hope the terrorists in the world aren't watching it and we're getting everybody in the same place at the same time.
That's another
scary
aspect
point
too.
For me.
That's I think a fair point. We have our Hobica Law Firm free money question of the day. Beth, how much should we give away today?
Oh God, we're the decision makers today.
You are.
I am. I didn't have a second cup of coffee to handle this pressure. $275.
$275. We'll do that when we come back in just a moment. We'll take caller number 8 at 315-736-0186. 315-736-0186. The Hobica Law Firm's free money question of the day. Coming up next, your chance at $275 here on WIBX.
RSV is a common contagious virus that in older adults can lead to life-threatening illness or even death. The first RSV vaccine for ages 60 and older is now available at Kinney Drugs. Stop by or visit kinneydrugs.com to RSVP for your RSV shot.
Hi, I'm Phil DiGiorgio. Planning for the future isn't always easy, but protecting what you've worked so hard for is important. The DiGiorgio Law Firm invites you to a free estate planning and asset protection workshop to be held on Thursday, October 9th, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the DiGiorgio Law Firm offices at 250 Genesee Street, Utica, New York. Seats are limited, so call 315-732-3155 to reserve your spot. At this free workshop, you'll learn how to use trusts to preserve your home and assets from the high costs of long-term care, how to safeguard inheritances for loved ones receiving public benefits, and discover techniques to help you access Medicaid benefits for home care or nursing home costs without spending your assets down to zero. Take control of your legacy. You can't take it with you, but you can decide where it goes. Call the DiGiorgio Law Firm today at 315-732-3155 to RSVP for the workshop or to schedule your own consultation. Again, that's 315-732-3155. The DiGiorgio Law Firm. Start protecting your hard-earned assets now.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
Judge Pat Kilmartin, current civil and criminal trial judge and attorney in private practice, former Onondaga County prosecutor and county attorney, decades of real courtroom experience. Judge Pat Kilmartin, past county legislator and longtime youth basketball coach, active parish member and volunteer for the Diocese of Syracuse, engaged in our community. Judge Pat Kilmartin, husband, father, coach, friend, committed to fairness, integrity, and the rule of law.
I'm Judge Pat Kilmartin. Growing up, I learned the value of public service from my mom, a public school educator, and my dad, a court attendant for Onondaga County Court. The countless hours I spent following my dad down courthouse halls started me on my path to becoming a lawyer, a prosecutor, and a judge. Everything I've done professionally since then has prepared me to extend that service to New York State Supreme Court.
Elect Judge Pat Kilmartin to State Supreme Court. Paid for by Judge Kilmartin for Supreme Court.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you'd pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
It's First News Keeler in the morning. Was I on talking, yapping? You sure, Smitty? Smitty says no, but I think I was. Assemblyman Brian Miller is in studio. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
We are, before we get to you and the headlight legislation, we're going to get an opportunity to win some money here from the Hobica Law Firm. Genesee Street in Utica, 724-1600. And Smitty, who do we have on the line?
Larry from Utica.
All right, Larry from Utica. Larry, you ready to win $275?
I'm going to try.
All right, I hope so. Here we go. So obviously, just after midnight this morning, The federal government officially went into shutdown mode as the House and Senate were unable to reach a spending agreement. The last government shutdown started in December of 2018. It was the longest in 40 years. How long was that government shutdown that began in 2018? How many days? Ready? Go.
60 days.
60 days. Unfortunately, that is incorrect, but that's a good guess. The actual number was 35 days. It went from December 22nd, 2018 through January 25th of 2019, and it cost the United States an estimated $3 billion in lost GDP. And I think we all know that Trump is trying to obviously focuses on the economy and does not want to lose GDP. So it'll be interesting to see who buckles here, who's willing to give, who's willing to negotiate when it comes to funding the government going forward. So the answer was 35 days. Larry, thank you for playing. You're not going to go away empty-handed. You win a $25 all-in-one food and fun gift card, and it's good at places like Cookie's Q and Creamery, Taylor and the Cook, Utica Comets, the concession stands, and in the gift shop. Who did I forget? And at Babes. Of course, Babes at Harbor Point. Thank you very much, Smitty. Larry, thanks for playing.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right.
Hold on the line, Larry.
Yeah, Davey's got to get your information, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Larry. Good morning, Brian. Assemblyman Brian Miller is in studio. Anything you want to say or weigh in on as it comes to the federal shutdown and what it impacts or what you're seeing? And
well,
I know it's federal in your state. I understand.
We've had them before.
Yeah.
And we'll have them in the future.
Yep.
It's not going to be anything that we're not going to go through, but it's a negotiation and. It's like our budget negotiations every year. We know April 1st comes along. We know these dates come along. Let's negotiate. Let's think our way through this. It costs us trillions of dollars every time this happens, and it puts us in situations where we don't want to be. But this is the way the federal government operates, and the Trump administration is very stubborn, and that's the way it's going to be.
Speaking of April 1st and the New York State budget deadline, that's typically passed late. In fact, this year was almost a month late, wasn't it?
Almost a month late. And the only people that don't get a paycheck during the time of the state late budget are the legislators.
You're the only ones who don't.
Okay, that's a plus.
Oh, that's reversed from the federal, where
right.
the federal government
they're the only ones that do get paid.
So maybe if they change the rules a little bit and squeeze, things will change. But we'll make our way through this. There's policy issues there's policy. There's different philosophies here. Our conference in the Assembly, we asked our Senate delegation, Schumer and Gillibrand, to negotiate in good faith and move this thing forward. And apparently that didn't do us any good.
Yeah. So we had you on this morning. We want to talk about the Beams Act. Tell us about what this would do and why this was on your radar.
Well, the Beams Act, I heard you guys talking about it earlier, and it's something that we've all talked about for a long time, as the headlight technology has changed.
Right. Yep.
From halogen to, I can't remember.
The LEDs.
Are they LEDs?
They're LEDs now, and the lumens have increased. It's in these reports, probably double over the last 10 years. And the height of the vehicles has increased about 7 inches.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Typically over that. So the lighting angle
is different now.
So the Beams Act, in what BEAMS stand for, is Brightness Emission Analysis for Motorist Safety, BEAMS. And what we're asking for is a study to be done here in New York State, by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee, CUNY, SUNY, the SUNY School of Optometry, to use our resources to see if there is really truly a definite situation. And we started off with we did a report here in the Assembly with our minority research team, and it's identified. But that's what it is. And it's not for the driver; it's for the oncoming motorist.
Sure.
Because with the new illumination on that, and with our vehicles, we can see a lot farther. But we can also, but what's happening now is we're seeing that we're all noticing it's not just the elderly in our communities; it's everybody that as we approach the oncoming cars. And I think Jeff, you were saying it earlier.
Yeah.
That you're getting flashed and you got your low beams on.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's what's truly happening. And we're finding that there is an issue out there. We've been approached by some optometrists, some eye doctors in the area that they want to be, help us in this study because they found that, there is an issue.
I think we would all agree that there is an issue. It's noticeable. I guess my question is, what does the study look at? If it's detrimental to the eye, if it's blinding? I mean, they're clearly brighter. We know that.
It's going to be all those things. It's going to look at, we're to leave it up to the schools and the committees to come up with criteria on how to
manage
apply
it.
this, manage the study. But it's going to look at the brightness of the beams, the angles, how they can be adjusted if they are adjusted, things like that. But, what we're aiming for with this beams study is this can't be done on a state-by-state, individual state-by-state law.
Yeah.
We're hoping that we can get some mileage here with our federal government and look at, the Highway Safety Commission or whatever it's called. We'll start looking at this. I know there's one congressional person, I can't remember which state they're from, but they've already kind of started this. And we're getting contacted every day by different agencies. Last week I was at a retired employees breakfast, and at the end of my talk I took a straw survey. Hands up, hands down, to see if this is really affecting these. This group of people, and we had a 98%
said yes
in favor of it. Let's take a look at it. And it really shouldn't cost us that much. We have SUNY Poly here with a great engineering program. They could probably do the whole thing for us. But we're asking to do it in our universities, and our students now, they're required to do capstone projects for graduation and on their thesis papers. Maybe this can be one of them.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think you're going to get broad agreement that there's a difference, and it's not necessarily a good thing. That it can be blinding at times.
And one thing that you just brought up is that I never thought about the height, the size of the vehicle the headlight is on, and that changes the angle. I mean, if you stare, I mean, I'm just guilty of it this morning. Looking at the pole in the middle of the table that lights up when the phone rings.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it when we were counting callers in for the money question this morning, and I looked away, and in the middle of my field of vision is a bright yellow spot because the rods and cones in my eyes were trying to deal with the bright blue light. Same thing.
Yep.
And there's going to be at least an immediate impact as the vehicle approaches you and then passes you. That's going to create blind spots in your vision for maybe 2 seconds, which if you're going 65 miles an hour, you can cover some significant.
You can go a
and
long
up
ways.
in the north, we're North Country people. What can run into your vehicle at night without any notice until it's bouncing off your hood or through your windshield? The local white-tailed deer that are out visiting each other at night. So it's definitely a safety issue. And as someone in my position, from my personal experience, as I mature, I am less and less inclined to do things later in the afternoon where returning home might be after sunset.
Yeah.
Because I just don't. I mean, I wear trifocals. I freely admit it. I wear trifocals, but at the same time, it's just a chance that I don't want to take unless I have to absolutely have to at this point.
I'm fortunate enough to be the ranker on the Assembly Transportation Committee. So we're looking at safety issues, road safety issues, not only for our DOT workers, but things like this.
Yeah.
So my mother-in-law, let's use her for an example. She leaves our house earlier and earlier now because of she can't drive. But it could be let's take a good look at this thing. Is this something we need to do? I think we can do this fairly inexpensively here. I think we have all the educational institutions in place.
Yeah,
let's
and I think
use
that's
what we got. Let's put a year.
And you're mentioning using the colleges. I mean, you're bringing in the next generation of drivers. These are kids that these are young people that are just now expanding in their lives. They're managing their own vehicles. They're determining how they're going to handle those things, and it's a good pool of knowledge and a future sustainability of maintaining these safety issues once they've been involved and engaged in establishing them.
So let me ask this. I don't know if this is, as they say, an old wives' tale or something, but I've always been told.
Well, you're talking to an old wife, so I'll let you know.
Sorry. That a vehicle, for instance, deer, that if you're on like a highway or one of these North Country roads, that if your high beams are on, they're like, I've been told this many times, the deer, they run right at those high beams. Do we know if there's any truth to that, or is that just something maybe that somebody said one time because they were in an accident and they had their high beams on?
Well, I don't think they run towards the high
I don't
beams.
think it's
I
purposeful.
think they just stand there and they look at you.
Yeah.
I
just didn't know if the brightness of the light had any impact on whether or not the deer, whether it blinded the deer,
Well,
if they were, it scared them, it spooked them, so they'd start running.
Keep in mind that deer are prey species, and deer in particular, and animals that run on four legs, deer, goats, sheep, that kind of thing. They operate on a flight or fight instinct. So it might be that the high beams create more of a potential danger signal in their brains, and instead of trying, and it's kind of like a crapshoot whether they're going to keep running or they're going to freeze, both of which can be detrimental if you're behind the wheel of a car. But that might have something to do with it. I mean, that's just my opinion. But when you're dealing with a prey species, be interesting to see if there's a wives' tale that says the same thing about black bears.
Could be.
Black bears might be standing on their hind legs, putting their fists up, going, come on, I'm ready for it. Come on, give it to me.
But I guess kind of where I was going with that is if there was any correlation to the brightness of the light or the height of the light, and it would spook deer or make them run or blind them so they wouldn't realize they're running in the path of a vehicle. If there was any correlation between, since these new LEDs became pretty standard on vehicles, if there's been an increase in vehicle and wild animal accidents.
Well, I'm sure
but it
the
sounds
insurance
like
companies
this was
would
kind
like
of a
to-
shot in the dark here.
The insurance companies here in upstate New York would like to know if that was a correlation between the two. But while we're on the topic of deer, it's getting to be that time of year where the deer are going to be moving quite a bit at twilight and in the morning. Twilight at both times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the motorists out in the roads really need to start being a little careful right now. It's going to be a little tough. Deer are going to move, and it's that time of year again.
Yeah, so obviously always use caution. Of course, the students have been back for a month now, but there's always concern about buses and kids out on the road as well, as we also are dealing with that twilight, whether it's early in the morning or as it continues to get dark earlier as we approach the end of the year. So, Brian, you want to hang with us or
whatever you guys want to do?
Maybe there's a couple of state issues we can get into. If anyone has a question for the Assemblyman, 315-736-0186, or you can comment on our YouTube page as well. We'll step aside, take a quick break for the news. It is First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Quo, formerly OpenPhone, gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Quo lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? Quo automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With Quo's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions and use those insights to level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with Quo. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's quo.com/free. QUO.com/free.
Ew, Dad, why are toenails so ugly and yellow?
If you're like me and suffer from toenail fungus, please pay close attention. Let's face it, toe fungus is embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off and hid my yellow and crumbly toes from everybody. But nail fungus isn't just a cosmetic problem, it can also be dangerous. Even a small spot can spread and get worse. But no matter what I tried, it seemed like my fungus would never go away. Then I discovered Crystal Flush, the new and different FDA-registered at-home treatment. This unique two-step system flushes out fungus at its source and reverses damaged nails. Finally, me and thousands of others are free from fungus. And you can be too.
Crystal Flush is not available in stores, but you can try it risk-free for 60 days. Go to crystalflush.com. That's CRYSTAL flush.com. Show off your toes with confidence. Go to crystalflush.com now. CRYSTAL flush.com.
Kevin Kugler here from Westwood One. Join me and Ross Tucker for Thursday Night Football this week when Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers head south to face the Rams in Los Angeles. San Francisco at 3-1 is coming off their first loss of the season, while a win moved Matthew Stafford and the Rams to 3-1. Which will pick up a big NFC West Division win? Find out on Thursday Night Football.
The NFL plays here all season long on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 100 years.
This is a Fox News alert. A lot of work in the federal government is coming to a halt. I'm Dave Anthony. After Congress failed to provide funding by the midnight deadline.
How is this good for the country? Nobody wins with a shutdown.
Republican Senator Rick Scott also tells Fox he thinks Congress should not get paid like federal employees affected. And he blames Democrats for blocking the House-passed bill that would have provided 7 weeks of funding.
What are the Democrats doing? This is a clean resolution. All we're doing is keeping the funding. Actually, the funding is too high. It's still the Biden funding. But I don't want to shut down government, so I support it.
The Senate's Minority Leader, Chuck Schumer, says it's Republicans' fault.
The bottom line is we're not going to negotiate this bill in public. We need to come to a bipartisan solution that protects America's health care.
Now, they want to add provisions to extend Obamacare subsidies that will expire at the end of the year and make coverage more expensive. The shutdown could furlough or even lay off hundreds of thousands of federal employees. Others who have to keep working, like federal law enforcement, won't get paid till there's new funding.
Mail, Social Security checks, and student loan bills are still being delivered. Airports are running. Those workers are considered essential and are expected to show up unpaid for now. The Interior Department's keeping national park roads and open-air memorials open during the shutdown with minimal, if any, restroom cleaning or trail clearing services. Members of the military are working without pay with some services on bases limited.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. Can AI help us beat cancer? President Trump hopes so.
I'm thrilled to sign a very historic executive order to massively accelerate pediatric cancer research and harness the extraordinary potential of artificial intelligence to fight this terrible disease.
He's also increasing funding for AI use at the Department of Health and Human Services. There's a search for children feared trapped alive in Indonesia, where a school collapsed Monday. At least 91 teenage students unaccounted for, so the number of deaths, now 3, is expected to rise. At least 69 people died in the Philippines when the earthquake, the magnitude 6.9 jolt that also may have people trapped. America's listening to Fox News.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report scams, and update your software. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information and fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your protection today with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Again, our top Fox News story, a government shutdown in effect after Congress failed to approve new funding by the midnight deadline. Military service members, again, would be among the many who would not get paid. Hundreds of generals and admirals flown in from around the world got a lecture from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth at a big gathering in Quantico, Virginia.
Secretary Hegseth told the commanders the newly renamed War Department will have only one main mission:
preparing for war and preparing to win. Unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit.
He also issued this warning.
Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department.
The Secretary also announced qualifications for all combat positions will be set at the highest male standards.
Because this job is life or death.
President Trump also spoke to the commanders, promising to always have their back. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Well, something else the president said got attention, suggesting dangerous U.S. cities should be a military training ground as he plans more National Guard deployments, even mentioning Chicago, to fight crime and what he called the enemy from within. On Wall Street after the shutdown, stocks could fall. Dow futures down more than 100 points the day after the Dow's record high, closing out September with a 2% gain. The baseball playoffs resumed today, with yesterday's winners hoping to close out best-of-3 series.
Yoshida sends one to center field. Rafaela's going to come in. Sogard to the plate.
That turned out to be the game-winning hit for Boston. The Red Sox beat the New York Yankees 3-1 on ESPN. The same score in the Chicago Cubs win over the San Diego Padres. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Cincinnati Reds 10-5. The Detroit Tigers topped the Cleveland Indians 2-1. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
We have a few clouds and now 44 degrees. WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. The Onondaga County Sheriff Toby Shelley is claiming he's owed $116,000 by Onondaga County in legal fees. In a lawsuit, Shelley is seeking over $49,000 in attorney fees for appealing the proposed closure of the Jamesville Correctional Facility. He also wants another $66,000 for legal fees because the county refused to comply with his appointment of 2 deputy sheriff chiefs to permanent roles. So far, the county has not commented on that legal action. Saranac Brewery is turning heads in the craft beer world once again. The Wall Street Journal has featured their 3% ABV Pilsner, Weekend Warrior, in an article about the growing popularity of mid-strength beers. The piece titled "Too Old or Busy to Risk a Hangover? These mid-strength beers are for you," and it highlights Weekend Warrior as a leading example of the trend, praising it for delivering bold flavor without heavy alcohol content. The national recognition is a big moment for Saranac, part of the FX Matt Brewing Company's long-standing tradition of innovation. Fred Matt saying, quote, "We've always believed in brewing beers for every occasion. Weekend Warrior was created for those who love craft beer but want some balance. It's flavor without the fog," end quote. You can read more on that story on our website at WIBX950.com. Syracuse University mourning the passing of former men's basketball star Lawrence Moten. He was found dead in his Washington, D.C. home yesterday. He was 53. Moten played for SU from 1991 to 1995. He is the program's all-time leading scorer with 2,334 points. In an interview with the Post-Standard, former Orange head basketball coach Jim Boeheim called Moten's death crushing. And going on this morning are various Coffee with a Cop events across central New York in Madison, Oneida, and other counties as well. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office this morning is hosting a Coffee with a Cop event at Daylight Donuts on Genesee Street in New Hartford, and that is going on till 9 o'clock, so you can stop by there if you have a question. WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM news time coming up on 8:08. Here's your forecast.
More widespread advisories for frost and freeze for Thursday morning. Actually, some freeze warnings into the Adirondacks. Clear sky this morning, and it is noticeably cooler. Sunshine cooler later, 68. Tonight in the 30s, and as we said, some of us close to freezing in the Adirondacks. Areas of frost tomorrow morning, then sunshine, upper 60s, and a beautiful Friday, sunny, 75. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now we have clear skies, 44 degrees at 8:08. You got to love that. We're still dealing with some really above average temperatures, and this weekend and early next week we could be near 80. But it is alarming to hear him say it'll be close to freezing overnight, and then we have a midday high of 78 degrees. It's quite a variance in the temperature there, obviously. All right, in sports, I'm sorry, Yankees fans. A disappointing end to last night's game. The Yankees did put 3 runners on, bases loaded, no outs in the bottom of the 9th, but they could not get a run across as the Bombers fall to the Red Sox in Game 1 by a final of 3-1. The Yankees don't win tonight. The season is over. Game 2 tonight from the Bronx starts at 6:08 p.m. Elsewhere in playoff action, the Tigers took down the Guardians by a final of 2-1. The Cubs scored 3 unanswered runs as they beat the San Diego Padres, and the day was capped off with the Dodgers hitting 5 home runs as they took down the Cincinnati Reds by a final of 10-5. The action continues today with all 4 of those series in Game 2 matchups. More baseball news. The Angels are beginning their search for a new head coach. LA announcing that manager Ron Washington will not be returning to the dugout next season. Also here, Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins officially underwent surgery yesterday. Of course, over the weekend, he dislocated his kneecap and tore some ligaments in his knee. He will be out for the rest of the season. Smitty, coming up in college football this weekend, the 3-2 Syracuse Orange will visit SMU on Saturday afternoon. Obviously, a disappointing game for Syracuse last weekend as they were blown out by Duke. What do you expect this weekend?
Tough game.
Tough game against SMU?
Mm-hmm. In Dallas, very, very hostile environment. 38-3 they lost last week, so hopefully they do more than 3 points.
Believe it. I was actually at Murnane doing a baseball game, and somebody said, wow, Syracuse got crushed. I said, really, against Duke? Yeah, 38-3. I could not believe that they struggled that much. But again, they've got a new quarterback in there, so the offense was out of sync, I guess, to say the least.
Defense, too.
And obviously, they gave up almost 40 points. So this weekend, Cuse takes on SMU. That'll be coming up on Saturday afternoon.
3:30 on the ACC network. And Colgate travels to Cornell this week.
Okay. And that's Saturday or Friday night?
Saturday.
All right, Assemblyman Brian Miller in studio. If you have a question on state-related issues, you can give us a call, 315-736-0186, or comment on the live YouTube stream. We'll get to some of those comments coming up later in the hour as well. It is First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
RSV is a common, highly contagious respiratory virus that usually causes mild, cold-like symptoms. But in older adults, RSV can worsen chronic health problems, lead to life-threatening illness, or even death. The first RSV vaccine for people age 60 and older is now available and can be given at the same time as other vaccinations. Appointments are open right now at Kinney Drugs. Just stop by or visit kinneydrugs.com to RSVP for your RSV shot.
Hi, I'm Phil DiGiorgio. Planning for the future isn't always easy, but protecting what you've worked so hard for is important. The DiGiorgio Law Firm invites you to a free estate planning and asset protection workshop to be held on Thursday, October 9th, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the DiGiorgio Law Firm offices at 250H Genesee Street, Utica, New York. Seats are limited, so call 315-732-3155 to reserve your spot. At this free workshop, you'll learn how to use trusts to preserve your home and assets from the high costs of long-term care, how to safeguard inheritances for loved ones receiving public benefits, and discover techniques to help you access Medicaid benefits for home care or nursing home costs without spending your assets down to zero. Take control of your legacy. You can't take it with you, but you can decide where it goes. Call the DiGiorgio Law Firm today at 315-732-3155 to RSVP for the workshop or to schedule your own consultation. Again, that's 315-732-3155. The DiGiorgio Law Firm. Start protecting your hard-earned assets now.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans, help is here.
As Americans continue to pile up astounding credit card debt levels with high interest rates to make ends meet, debt relief is being made available through National Debt Relief that could reduce a significant portion of what you owe if you qualify. For many, continuing to struggle making minimum monthly payments could take 25 or more years to pay off. National Debt Relief has already helped over 550,000 Americans reduce their debt by negotiating directly with their creditors. When you call, you'll be amazed at how much you can save and how quickly you can become debt-free. If you want off the debt treadmill, call National Debt Relief today. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may qualify for significant debt relief. Call the Relief Hotline now to check what savings you may qualify for. Dial 800-241-5511. 800-241-5511. That's 800-241-5511.
Hi, this is Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. If you're interested in keeping up with events and news in the Mohawk Valley region, I have the show for you. It's called This Week in the Mohawk Valley, and it airs every Sunday on WIBX. Join us as we talk with area business leaders, elected officials, law enforcement, educators, and more. Don't miss This Week in the Mohawk Valley every Sunday at 9 a.m. on WIBX 950 a.m. 92.3 FM.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
8:14 on a Wednesday morning here. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. Bill is back in the saddle later this week. Jeff Manaski and Beth Irons filling in this morning. And we're joined in studio by Assemblyman Brian Miller. Good morning again.
Morning, guys.
Brian, Assemblyman Miller talking about the beams legislation. And if you want to weigh on that, you can at 7360186. Smitty, any appropriate comments? No, he's just shaking his head. No. Any inappropriate comments?
No comments.
Okay.
No comments. Our comments are good comments.
A couple of things I wanted to ask you about while we got you here. First of all, you ran into Davey yesterday at an event honoring Rome police officer Michael Jensen. Can you talk about that event?
Syracuse police officer. He was a Syracuse police officer. Assembly person Button John and Senator Griffo dedicated Black River Boulevard in memory of Officer Jensen. It was a very touching ceremony. That's about all I can say about it. It was sad, but you know his memory will be there forever. And a terrible tragedy, and I don't know what to say. It was just tough to see the parents, the relatives, and everybody. But it's a tribute for a fallen officer here in Central New York that his memory will be remembered forever. Endured forever.
Sure. We, I think, often take for granted the sacrifice that our law enforcement, they're literally in the line of duty and line of fire, and their lives are at risk every single day. So an unfortunate reminder of that. You do about 5 miles of walking every day, huh?
I walk 5 miles every morning. I was up at 4:15 this morning, out walking. I walk a little course around the lawn and driveway, and I got 2 labs, and they're up before I am. I got one that likes to go to bed at 8 o'clock. The dog, it's time for bed. You bring her upstairs, she goes to bed, but she's up at 4:15 in the morning. Let's go.
You ever do any walking at Lake Delta?
No, I haven't. I probably walk across Lake Delta
I was
now if you want to. You don't have to walk on water or anything.
And what water's there, your labs will love.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only Delta. I mean, we got Hinckley Reservoir, but they are reservoirs. We have seen them low in the past, but we were talking earlier. I don't think that any of us have seen Delta at this level.
Not at this level. Not for quite a while.
It's starting to get very alarming. I was talking. I was at a Otsego County Farm Bureau meeting last night, talking to one of the fish farmers in Otsego County, and they've had some wells go dry in the last few weeks.
Yep.
It's going to start. It's going to start affecting their business. But here in the Mohawk Valley, I don't know what the elevation has to be at Hinckley before it gets at the critical
to the drought level.
But I know we're probably approaching that.
Yeah, and it's if you look at the forecast, the extended forecast, it's more of what we've seen, which is great weather. But we do need some rain. We do.
Yep.
Yeah, and I keep on telling everybody, we know one of these hurricanes. We need one of these hurricanes to come up the coast and hit us, but we don't need torrential rain. We need a slow soak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Week of rain. But right now, let's enjoy what we have. Conserve water. Don't water the lawns tonight. You don't have to worry about watering your garden again because we got a freeze warning.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be in effect. So,
yeah. We'll go to the phone lines. Good morning. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What's going on? What's on your mind today?
Well, I guess because we talked about this the other day real quick, but the markers, the turn signal markers on cars.
Yes, how they used to be amber colored and now they're what, red?
They're all red, so they match the taillights. I'm just wondering what happened, when it happened, and why it happened that we would change the marker lights from amber to red, because what it does is it confuses a lot of drivers maybe, that aren't paying attention to a turn signal that's the same color as the brake light.
That's a great question. Do you have anything on that?
Or a taillight.
Good question. Tell you the truth, I haven't really noticed it.
I've seen it, but you're right. I haven't really. I didn't make a mental note of that. And don't on semis, big trucks, don't they have to have different colored lights depending on where on the vehicle the light is located? For safety?
Yeah, because you have to have marker lights, amber marker lights.
Yeah. So, Joe, unfortunately,
you'll start to notice it more now. I guarantee it.
Yeah, well, now that you've pointed it out, it's certainly
that'll be one of those
I've
things
noticed.
we can't unsee now.
Yeah, tonight I'll be looking for it.
But we don't have an answer for you, though, Joe. Unfortunately, it's
That's
a good point
question,
to bring up.
Well, at least now it's in the, I guess the awareness. People are aware of it.
Absolutely. We'll take a look at it. I like I said, I haven't noticed it. Beth hasn't noticed it.
No.
I'm sure a lot of us haven't. Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
So, and then, Joe, before we let you shamelessly plug something, let me ask you, do you spend any time on the water or where there used to be water up at Hinckley and Delta?
Well, so I have the pleasure of living on Cayuta, which has plenty of water, thank God. And I think Cayuta and White Lake are like the new prime areas, prime lake frontages in the area. I mean, I have a friend that just bought a house on Hinckley, and, the water levels are terrible up there. People are struggling to try to find boat docks that are in areas that still have water. It's a rough situation, but I've never seen Delta because I drive past Delta every single day. I've never seen it this low. You can literally walk across it from one side to the other in a certain spot.
Yeah, it's incredible. As I mentioned earlier this morning, WKTV's got a story up on their website about it this morning, and their overhead shot is alarming. Yeah, it is.
Where does the water go? Tell me where the water goes.
It evaporates.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's an important distinction.
There's an old man with a bucket. He's been shoveling it out since April.
No, but don't they let some water out to go towards New York? Isn't this part of the problem with our reservoirs? Is we give water to downstate?
So I could be wrong. Do you have anything on that?
I just wanted to make a note. I just realized that maybe an important distinction to make is Delta and Hinckley are man-made bodies of water.
Yes, they are reservoirs. And
they are
the
Cayuta and
canal
White
feeders.
Lake, those are naturally occurring bodies of water. So there's going to be a natural underground aquifer or tributaries. Mother Nature said, you know what? I think I'd like a nice little freshwater lake right here. And at some point in our recent past...
Cayuta is fed by the Black River, too. So
yeah. So, Joe, to your question, I'm not positive on Hinckley, but I don't think Delta is fed or feeds anything. But for instance, like the Erie Canal, feeds something else to the. It's fed by another body of water, and it feeds another body of water.
They are canal feeders.
Yes. Oh, they are.
Yes.
Hinckley and Delta. Oh, they are.
Hinckley and Delta, and Hinckley is the Mohawk Valley Water Authority water system, and that's why it's so concerning that we're getting to that elevation.
Do we have a question? All right. Joe, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. So what are we plugging today?
Well, nothing really to plug. I mean, if you are looking for a pre-owned automobile and you want to check out Joe Load, come to Lynx Automotive on in Lee Center on Turin Road in Lee Center. You can't miss us. We're right on the corner of Stokes Westernville Road. You know what's crazy, Jeff, is last year I was able to ride my snowmobile from Remsen to work.
And where is that again?
In Lee Center.
Oh, in Lee Center.
There was so much snow last year. We had plenty of snow to ride the trail system all the way over there. It was great.
Yeah, that's great. You're looking forward to that again this year. I know I'm not. But
I'm not
I know
either.
You are.
You know what? I was just thinking.
Well, I'm a little bit more prepared this year. I bought a nice tractor down there at Hobby Hill Farms and not pushing snow with a push snowblower anymore.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that for you, Joe. You're cutting
And
out.
if you need help getting out, I'd be happy to drive the tractor down Route 12 because this thing's a monster. It's got 68-inch front snowblower. I can blow snow 40 feet in the air.
Joe, it's always good to hear from you, man. Hope you're well.
Have a great day, guys. I appreciate it.
You too. I'm sorry, Beth, you were going to say?
I was just going to make a comment that I hope, nature always has a way of balancing the scales, and I hope we don't make up for the low moisture this summer by another few weekends of 5 feet of snow this winter because we ended up putting a new roof on the house this year
because of the snow.
It was probably due for one anyway, but it was exacerbated by 5 feet of snow.
Let's go to Ross Bartel, our friend from Rome, will tell us more about Lake Delta. Hi, Ross. You're on.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Ross. Thank you.
Just a couple of quick points. Lake Delta is fed by a natural river, the Mohawk River to the north, which gets its water north of Westernville, where the river starts. Our real problem is lack of rain to the north of us that feeds all the little streams that feed into the Mohawk River. We have to let a certain amount of water out of the dam through the spillwell gates because it's required to keep the Mohawk River flowing. So we have one gate that's open, the minimum amount of water that's exiting Lake Delta, for two reasons. Number one, we need to feed the canal, but number two, which everybody forgets about, is there's a certain amount of water that's required to keep the New York State Fish Hatchery a half a mile south of the dam to keep the fish hatchery in operation. They need fresh water from the Mohawk River. And that water comes from what's coming out from underneath the dam through the spill well. So we're letting out the minimum amount, but we have less coming in from up north and on the north side of the lake. So
got you. I did not realize that it was hooked to the Mohawk like that, and I forgot about the hatchery as well.
Yeah, everybody does that. And if you drive around the lake and you go over the bridge in Westernville that goes over the Mohawk River, you'll be alarmed with how low and how slow the flow is of water. And that's the only feed to Lake Delta, other than a couple of little creeks here and there and some fresh water. Around the lake and little miscellaneous places, but the Mohawk River is the main feed.
Yeah, I've got it up. I've pulled up a map here, the Delta Reservoir. It is massive, and it is so concerning to see it so low. I guess it just is concerning, especially when you look at it and you see how big it is and then how much it's receded. You talked about I'm sorry, go ahead.
It'll come back up. We're going to get some rain in October, and we're going to they will continue to let the minimum amount out, and there's no doubt the water level will come back up in October. And I've seen the lake this low before. Have lived on the southwest corner of Lake Delta my whole life, and it's a great place for a hike right now, all around the state park, to go out and see what's out there. But yeah, it'll come back up. It's no big deal to a lot of people. It's just nature.
Yes. Well, thank you, Ross. Appreciate the phone call. As I've said before, I typically drive by there every day, and a lot of times I do have to stop at Delta Lake State Park. So this was about 2 weeks ago that they had some staff. I don't want to misrepresent whether they work for the DEC or for the state park or exactly who they work for, but they had staff at that entryway, the main gate for Delta Lake State Park, and it's near the boat launch.
Mm-hmm.
There's on the left-hand side there, usually the water is filled right up almost to the road. There's a little barrier there, but it's receded and there's none left. But about 2 weeks ago, the ground was still a little wet and muddy. Maybe there was a couple inches of water, and they had guys literally with nets pulling the fish
Catching
out.
fish, yep.
Yeah, so that they can go
to
put
move them out into the deeper part of the lake. Yeah,
absolutely. So and that was an interesting thing to see. Also, I'll mention Ross talked about the streams and stuff that are down significantly. Dixon Drive is just around the corner on 46, and there's a little. And again, it's not any kind of a feeder as far as I know for the lake, or maybe it is, but it's not a significant one in any event. It's just this little stream that goes along Dixon Drive, and it is just a rock bed right now.
And and I was going to make a note. A lot of these smaller tributaries that he was talking about are probably very seasonal. They're running in the spring, they're running in the fall, but during there's one that runs behind our property. I live in the town of Floyd, and there's one. It's called the Dry Creek, ironically.
So it's dry.
It's dry. Yep. But in the springtime and in the fall, I remember as a kid we used to go down there and catch the minnows and the crayfish and stuff. But in the end of June, middle of July, we'd go down there and do fossil hunting. Because it's all slate. So
yeah.
But they are tributaries, quote unquote, but they're seasonal.
Yeah.
So they're not, they overall they probably make a significant contribution to the lake, but they're not like the Mohawk River where there's theoretically always running water.
Assemblyman Brian Miller joining us in studio. Thank you for stopping by. Before we let you go, Beth, you found something
I did
in the file here that's kind of eye-opening. And again, it's 90 years, right? 80 or 90 years in time, but it's quite a difference.
This chart that I'm looking at, and the one thing that caught me was the two points that he made a point of mentioning was the type of light that they used for the headlights and the height of the vehicle. And this is a little chart, it's a quick read chart on the type of lights. And in the 1960s, auto manufacturers used halogen for their headlights.
Uh-huh.
And the number of lumens, which is the measure of the brightness of the light, was up to 1,200 lumens.
This is in the 1960s,
1960s. In the 1990s, they were using HID headlight type. I've never heard of that, but that's okay. But the lumens jumped from 2,800 to 3,500 lumens per headlight. Now that's a 300% increase right there.
Yep.
And then in the 2020s, now it's LED, and it's up to 6,000 lumens. So we've had a 500% increase in the brightness of the light being used in 60 years.
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten into the part where the height of the vehicle. So
exactly, but I don't know that there's a automotive design for headlights, and these may affect everything.
Yeah,
they may not.
Yeah.
So.
But that's like you sit next to a table that's got a lamp on it that's at 1,200 lumens, and now you sit next to one that's got like a stadium light sitting next to you at 6,000 lumens. You can't say that doesn't affect how you respond to that.
Well, technology's changed so much. I was someplace the other day, and we're talking about we're brainstorming how can we take care of this lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the automotive lighting manufacturers can put a chip in there that would regulate the lumens on when it's an oncoming vehicle. It drops it down below what they are right now, and when you're not in an oncoming vehicle, it stays at the set
right. It
set
self-adjusts.
Rate. So
that technology it does exist, because I'm aware of some vehicles that will put the high beams on and then will automatically turn them off when they see another vehicle coming. So, all right, Brian, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
State Assemblyman Brian Miller talking about the Beams Act. Utica Comets new head coach Ryan Parent will join us in 60 seconds. We'll talk to him on the other side. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Are your windows old and tired? Hard to put up and down? Builder's grade windows just aren't made to last very long. Patriot Home Solutions is a different kind of window company. No games or gimmicks, no long drawn-out sales presentations, Just high-quality, custom-fit windows at reasonable prices made right here in New York. And right now, you can get up to $2,000 off new windows from Patriot and NYSERDA, plus 0% interest for 18 months. Most homeowners qualify for the savings, and income is not one of the requirements. So write this number down, 315-401-0440. That's 401-0440. Patriot Home Solutions will tell you right over the phone if you qualify. Don't miss your chance to save up to $2,000 on new windows. Funds are limited, so call before they run out. Learn more at callpatriothomesolutions.com. That's callpatriothomesolutions.com.
When it comes to the ones we love, their comfort and dignity matter most. That is why Hospice and Palliative Care is here for you. When you want your loved ones' wishes to be honored, when you want them to be comfortable, safe, and secure, and when you want them to be wherever they call home, Hospice and Palliative Care is the right choice. Our team of professional doctors, nurses, social workers, and bereavement counselors are dedicated to providing compassionate care every step of the way. At Hospice, your loved one is not alone, and neither are you. We are just a phone call away, ready to support you through this journey. Choose Hospice and Palliative Care, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison County for the comfort and dignity your loved ones deserve. For more information, visit our website, hospicecareinc.org, or call us today at 315-735-6484. Hospice and Palliative Care, Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and Eastern Madison counties.
When you need us most.
More widespread advisories for frost and freeze for Thursday morning. Actually, some freeze warnings into the Adirondacks. Clear sky this morning, and it is noticeably cooler. Sunshine cooler later, 68. Tonight in the 30s, and as we said, some of us close to freezing in the Adirondacks. Areas of frost tomorrow morning, then sunshine, upper 60s, and a beautiful Friday, sunny, 75. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, back here, First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. Bill is back later this week. Joining us on the phone, we have the honor of welcoming in the Comets head coach Ryan Parent, who was named to the position as an interim head coach last November, almost a year ago. But this will be his first full season as the head coach, and he joins us on the line right now. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Bill. How you doing?
Very good. Obviously, you've got experience as the Comets head coach. You were named to that role last November, but this is the first time you get, I guess, to run a training camp and to kind of make the decisions from day one.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's been a little bit of a different season so far, obviously being my first camp, but we're excited to get back here after being in Jersey for a few weeks with them going through their camp, and now we get a chance to get back and get everything organized here in Utica. And, get our group together. We have a bit of a new staff on our end as well. So, new players, new staff. We're just excited to get this season going.
Coach, a really rough start last season. I think it was, the team went winless in their first 13 games, 0-10, 1-2, I think is what it was. Obviously, it's important to get off to a good start this season.
Yeah, definitely. The season wasn't the way that anybody would want to start a year last year. So, the lucky thing about our league, especially, there's a lot of turnover. So we get a fresh start. We have a lot of new pieces on our team, and last year's done with. We're just looking forward to having a good start and a competitive start, kind of playing off how we finished last year. So that's been our focus, and we're just, like I said, we're excited to get our group together whenever we're able to, and have a first competitive few games against our nemesis here down the road in Syracuse.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, that's a huge rivalry, and it does a lot for both fan bases. Hoping to, as you said, build off that momentum that the team had in the second half of last year. You've got the season opener is the 10th, but you've got an exhibition game coming up here quick.
Yeah, Yeah, our season opener is not for a few weeks now, but we have our first exhibition will be on Thursday here against Syracuse, and we'll have 2 against them. It's a good opportunity. We have a lot of bodies coming in this year. We have a lot of numbers for our camp, so there's going to be a lot of competition for our roster spots as well. So that was one thing that we put a focus on this year, was making sure we had just a lot of personnel and made it competitive, which is something we're looking forward to. And these 2 games coming up is going to give everybody a good chance, a good opportunity to show, make good first impressions and show us how well and the effort that they put in the off season to be more competitive.
Is there any certain players that you were excited about down in New Jersey when you were down there, Coach, that's hopefully you've seen Utica?
Well, yeah, there's right now that we still have a lot of numbers down in New Jersey as well, and we won't really know who will end up with us for probably another week or so. So it's exciting for those guys. The guys have put in a lot of work that we've seen in the past that are down there competing for spots. So we're watching them, and we hope that they continue to make good impressions. We had some new free agent signings in the off season that are down there competing. There's a handful of our players that were on the team last year that are, again, competing for those spots that we're more familiar with. So right now we're just looking at watching them and wishing them kind of all the best. In the same breath, it puts us in a little bit of a holding pattern because we don't really know who we have or who we'll get to have on our roster until they finalize things up top. So, but yeah, there's a handful of guys right now that are doing a great job up top, and we're just kind of waiting to see what trickles down to us.
All right, head coach Ryan Parent with the Utica Comets. Again, the regular season opener is next Friday, the 10th. It'll be a nice start to the season, a Friday night game and then a Saturday afternoon game, 3 o'clock, both of those contests against the Cleveland Monsters. And, Coach, when are the preseason games against Syracuse?
We have we have a home game on this Thursday, tomorrow, and then we have another game on Friday against Syracuse on the road.
Okay, so a home-and-home exhibition to get the feet wet here. So Thursday night, and is that a 7 o'clock start tomorrow night at the
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck this season. We appreciate you spending a few minutes with us this morning.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
That is Utica. You too, thank you. That is Utica Comets head coach Ryan Parent. Excited for the start of the season. Again, the preseason game against Syracuse at home is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock start at the Adirondack Bank Center. And then the Comets kick off the season, the regular season, next Friday the 10th, 7 o'clock against the Cleveland Monsters. And then they are also home on Saturday the 11th, a 3 p.m. matinee against the Cleveland Monsters. We'll take a quick timeout and come back with more. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you'd pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
Vanity Fair calls BritBox a delicious streamer. Collider says everyone should be watching. Catch Britain's next best series with BritBox. Stream acclaimed new originals like Code of Silence.
You read lips, right?
And Linley, based on the best-selling mystery series.
Hi, Linley. Take it from here.
And don't miss the new season of Karen Piri, coming this October.
You don't look like police. I'll take that as a compliment.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox. Watch with a free trial today.
Guys, have you seen the Comets lately?
Yeah, we heard the chatter. The magic's run out. But I just think those people might need a reminder that Utica is richly steeped in hockey history and home to some of the most passionate fans in the world, and that the players are as gritty as the city they represent.
Season starts October 10th.
Get your season opener tickets at UticaComets.com. This is Utica.
Adirondack Home Furniture wants you to fall in love with your home again. With their timeless design and incredible craftsmanship, their furniture is the type of furniture that gets passed down from generation to generation. For years, Adirondack Home Furniture has been providing quality and comfort to Central New York. From American-made pieces and new Amish pieces to top designers, Adirondack Home Furniture has what you want. Whether you're looking to redo your living room, dining room, bedroom, kids' rooms, or just need some pieces to get your home ready for the holidays, Adirondack Home Furniture has that perfect piece. With a fully stocked showroom and the best prices of the season, you need to stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture has non-commissioned salespeople, which means you enjoy a relaxing, low-pressure shopping experience. They also pride themselves on their unmatched customer service and attention to detail. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and get your home ready for the holidays. Riverside Center in North Utica, or go to AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities, so do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, back here. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. Bill will be back later this week, sitting in this morning with Beth Irons. Good morning, Beth.
Good morning.
Talking about, we talked this morning about the reservoir and how it's something to see. Go check it out. If you haven't been to Lake Delta, I haven't been up to Hinckley. I understand the water levels are low there as well.
Yeah.
But it's something you might not see for several more years, I guess, hopefully. But driving by there every day, it's like, wow, it's kind of eye-opening a bit. We do have Ryan on the phone. Perfect. Ryan Nobles is joining us on the phone. Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
Hello, Jeff. Good morning. Thank you for having me. How's life?
It's pretty good.
Have you gotten any sleep since last night?
I would say my sleep quotient is low right now, but I'm finding a way to get it where I can. I'm also at that stage of life where work is busy and family life is busy, and so it's I'm taking it on both ends, but all good. Things could be worse for sure.
Absolutely. So I guess real quick, because I don't think you've spoken to Bill since it happened, but the Mets completed their collapse over the weekend. Do you want to weigh in on that? Always the Marlins. It's always the Marlins that do it to us, isn't it? In September?
Listen, I thought the ending of the season perfectly encapsulated everything about this team, that they had a golden opportunity to take advantage of a situation that was handed to them, and they fumbled it. That was the last day of the season defined the Mets season. So I don't think it could have ended any better. I don't think squeaking out a win against the hapless Marlins and then going and getting crushed in Los Angeles twice would have made the season any better. So for me, let's just take a step back, lick our wounds, and move on. One thing I will say,
that's a good point.
I think they're going to bring Mendoza back. I saw that this morning, which I don't really have strong feelings about either way. I think he actually I don't think there's a better alternative to him right now. Put it that way. But I have to give Steve Cohen credit. I think this guy is doing all the right things. And the fact that he is being accountable to the fan base by putting out that note and saying that he doesn't think things were acceptable and that they're going to review everything from top to bottom. A lot of times the Wilpons for years just put their nose in the air and did not even interact with the fans. So Steve Cohen's not perfect. He hasn't done everything right, but the fact that he is being accountable and you feel like he's one of us, even though he's a multi-billionaire and is definitely not one of us, I think is encouraging. So whether or not that leads to wins, we'll see. But that made me, I identified with that.
Ryan, and that's a great point. I do have a criticism for a player on the team, though, that I am really a big fan of, and that's Pete Alonso. I don't even think he was off the field on Sunday when he announced that he was opting out of his contract. I mean, can you wait a day or an hour before you make that news?
I mean, that's the Scott Boras in him, right? Like that's, I think that listen, it's a business. I'm all about these guys getting paid. I care way more about them getting paid than I do the owners making more money. I felt the same way about James Cook during his holdout. I don't begrudge that at all. But I'm very conflicted about Pete. I thought his season offensively was terrific. I don't think there are many position players of his caliber out there to replace him. But he really kind of stumbled at the end of the season defensively. I mean, the entire team did. And he's going to want a lot of money. And I don't know. I mean, listen, Cohen's got enough and there's no salary cap. So if Cohen's willing to pay him, I say pay him. But I don't think they don't need to be ridiculous in keeping him in the fold, because I still think while he is a very productive hitter, I think he ended up in the range of 40 home runs, a lot of RBIs. Defensively, he remains a liability.
Yeah.
And I think there's a good chance his best days are behind him because he's not getting any younger. So he set the Met home run record. He'll always be a Met. But if he wants to go get overpaid somewhere else, I don't think that would be the end of the world.
Yeah, and just to put a bow on this, I mean, they just paid him last season. He was a free agent.
Deal.
Yeah, they paid him, but then and then he opts out after 1 year. So I don't know if Cohen's going to renew.
But that's the way they set that deal up. I mean, because he wouldn't sign it, because they were unwilling to sign him long term. They gave him the option of that opt out. I think there's a good chance though that he tests the market, and that I just don't know what team out there is willing to pay. I mean, somebody will pay for 40 home runs, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know if somebody's going to. I mean, he's fast approaching the stage of his career where he's just going to DH. And is he Kyle Schwarber level DH? I don't know.
So.
That's the question. But I think he's looking for like a 7 to 8 year deal. I just don't know who's going to pay that much for that long for somebody of his caliber. But I could be wrong. Baseball executives make very curious decisions all the time. So we'll see.
Yes. Okay. So the government is shut down again for the first time since essentially Christmas of 2018. Yep. Tell us what you're working on, what you're seeing in D.C.
This is bad, to put it bluntly. I don't know what the exit strategy here is. The way that these two sides are talking about each other publicly, the fact that they can't even apparently even get in the same room and try and find some sort of a consensus to get out of it is not a good sign. You're right. The shutdown in 2018 lasted 34 days. The one in 2013 was about 2 weeks. I think at the very least it's somewhere in between, probably trending toward the 34-day window than the 2-week window. I think that both sides think that they can get something out of this politically. And let's be clear that shutdowns are never about the policy. The shutdowns are always about the politics. And rarely you look back at those last two shutdowns, 2018 and 2013. In 2013, Republicans wanted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act still exists. In 2018, Trump wanted money for his border wall. He didn't get it. So you never get the policy when you ask for it. But instead, there's always a political cost. And I think that Democrats right now view Donald Trump as politically vulnerable. His approval rating is as low as it's ever been over the course of both of his presidencies. And in particular, I think the area that they see an opportunity here is that his approval rating on the economy has just the bottom has fallen out of. And that's normally been his strongest attribute. I mean, it was the reason he won the election in 2024. And so a shutdown is not going to make the economy any better. And so I think Democrats think that he'll get blamed for the economy and he'll get blamed for the shutdown. Now, on the other side of it, Donald Trump just likes a fight. He never backs down from a fight, and he views this as an opportunity to kind of show the Democrats who's boss. The way he conducted himself in that meeting with the four leaders, putting out the 2028 hats, and then going on social media afterwards and putting that racist video out, I think just shows where his mindset is right now. So when you have a posture where both sides seem willing to fight and they're not necessarily looking for common ground, I mean, that's a recipe for a long-term shutdown. So I would brace for a long-term shutdown. And I think most of your listeners probably wake up this morning and that doesn't impact their lives all that much. But in 2 weeks, when TSA agents are calling in sick because they're not getting paid, and there's traffic, there's airline delays all over the fact, Social Security workers who aren't getting paid, that's a slowdown in service, and maybe you don't get your benefit check as quickly as you normally do. There will be real-world impacts for this, and they'll be sooner rather than later, and we'll have to see who bears the political cost as a result.
Ryan, I want to go back to that video in just a second. A couple of things, though. First, on the TSA agents, a report that I read this morning from NPR said the TSA is considered essential, and I thought that they were still going to be paid and be working throughout. So it sounds like you're saying they'll be working but not be paid.
So the way it works for TSA officers is that they work, but they work without pay. And we talked to a TSA officer yesterday for a piece that ran in the Today Show this morning as well, where he said that the responsibility of these officers is to be looking for bombs and for weapons. They don't want to be thinking about their paycheck or how they're going to pay their mortgage. And so that's in the back of their minds all the time. And, when this happened back in 2018, there were delays at airports as a result of these officers calling in sick. So there are downstream costs to this. And then there's also a cost to the taxpayer, right? Because all these employees will ultimately get paid, but they get paid after the fact. The cost of the shutdown in 2018 was $3 billion, and it wasn't even all of the government. Yeah. So, there's a huge impact to this. It's just there's nothing good about a shutdown on any level. Yeah,
I was going to mention when you talked about Trump and the economy, the one in 2018 that ran into 2019, 35 days, but it was an estimated toll of $3 billion. Do I have that right? Billion or trillion?
Yeah, $3 billion. No,
$3 billion on the economy and on the GDP, and obviously, I don't think that's something that either side wants to see. You referenced a video. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. So after that meeting with Schumer and Jeffries and Trump has put out a video on his Truth Social account, which was an AI-generated video. It had a fake Chuck Schumer making all kinds of ridiculous claims about illegal immigrants. And then it had Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero with a mustache. And then Hakeem Jeffries spoke out against it. He called it racist. He said it was offensive. And then Trump doubled down last night with another video putting Jeffries in a sombrero and then having a trumpets playing behind him, a Mexican song. So it's obviously not how presidents normally act in situations like this, which obviously with Trump we can say that almost every single time. But the bigger problem here is how on earth are you going to get the decision makers into a room to have a substantive conversation about solving the country's problems if they're making fun of each other at such a level outside of these meetings? How does Hakeem Jeffries go into a deliberation with Donald Trump when he thinks the end result of it is him just mocking him on social media? Yeah. It's not a productive way to handle this, but that is, Trump is a fight guy. He's not a come together guy, and that is playing out in real time right now in these shutdown negotiations.
I had a report earlier this morning also that 3 Democrats were willing to support the deal that was put forth, and that maybe only 2 more were needed.
They need 7. They need 7 total.
7 total.
They actually need 8 because Rand Paul votes against it as well because he doesn't vote for continuing resolution. So, yeah, I think the 3 voted yes last night, and that group right there, that 10 voted for it. They voted to end the filibuster to allow the vote to pass 51 votes. But the 10 that voted for it in the spring to prevent the government shutdown, the question is how many of them start to get nervous about what's happening here and then decide that I'll accept the short-term shutdown, or I'm sorry, the short-term continuing resolution just to keep the government open. And I think that is the open question right now. It appears that these Democrats are willing to hold firm. How long they're willing to hold firm for is the open question. But as my smart colleague Melanie Zanona pointed out to me this morning, there's only one Democrat who is in a vulnerable seat that's up for re-election in 2026, and that's John Ossoff in Georgia. So there really isn't a political motivation right now for these Democrats to break ranks. There's every reason for them to continue to support their leadership. So if leadership's on board, there's no reason to think that we're going to see them fold anytime soon.
Interesting. Ryan Nobles is joining us this morning. Ryan, we're almost out of time. And look, I know that nobody wants to say, the next time the government shuts down, because in theory, in practice, we want to say it's not going to happen again. But the fact that TSA agents and the important job that they do, and you underscored this about, they have mortgages and their own bills to worry about. They're expected to come to work, but their paychecks are delayed until the government gets its act together. Meanwhile, members of Congress still get paid when there's a shutdown. Can somebody draft legislation to change that and make the members of Congress?
They've tried it before, and Jeff, it seems like the easiest layup for members of Congress, doesn't it?
Right.
Like, why haven't they done this yet? I do not get it at all. And not to mention the fact you mentioned, TSA officers, all these different federal government employees are going to be asked to work without a paycheck. And I know, a lot of people don't have a lot of empathy for federal government employees, but they do an important job.
Yeah.
It's
especially TSA.
It's not just the members of Congress. They'll get paid, but their staffers are still going to have to come in and do the job. The people that work at the Capitol that clean the rooms and do stuff like that, the hardworking support staff, they won't get paid during this period of time, but the members still will. Now, some of them, they do a show thing. They tell the Treasury, don't send me my paycheck, or I'm going to donate it to charity. It's not a profile in courage, and I 100% agree. I don't understand why Congress gets let off the hook here while the rest of the country is suffering.
Thank you so much. We are out of time. Have a great day, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
This is a Fox News alert. A lot of the government is closed, and Republicans and Democrats blame each other.
The far-left faction of Senate Democrats shut down the government because we wouldn't give them hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens.
That's what Vice President Vance just told Fox after Democrats blocked a House-passed bill to extend government funding for 7 weeks.
Their bill, they call it clean. We call it totally partisan.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer insists provisions be added to keep health care costs from rising when Obamacare subsidies expire at the end of the year. Vance's response?
Of course we all want to ensure that Americans have low-cost health care, so let's work together on that. You don't shut the government down. You don't take the government as a hostage because you want to engage in a negotiation about health care costs.